Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. I know it's been a minute. I have been MIA, and I do apologize, but I have been going through it a bit in February. That was a very moving month for me. I was spending time with myself, just turning inward and making space for me to allow that. And I was even closing down my calendar. I wasn't seeing clients, and so I wanted to put that out there and share that with you and be vulnerable with you, because I think oftentimes we don't give ourselves enough grace. We feel like we have to have it all figured out, have our shit together, all of our ducks in a row, whatever you resonate with most. And we don't give ourselves credit. We don't give ourselves the space to be emotional, be upset, be angry when things aren't going our way. And it's so important to do that. So if you are feeling or have been feeling the need to go into full hermit mode, that is totally okay. It's really important to honor the boundaries and what your body is telling you, because you will come out on the other side so much better, I promise you. And that's exactly what I did for myself. I turned down my calendar, spent a lot of time with myself, and it actually led me to a couple of things. So when I was in my records, I kept getting this nudge to explore divine feminine kept coming up. And it has come up before, but it was coming up pretty strongly. And I remember looking back at this, and this was something I avoided, because whenever I heard it, it made me feel like, ugh, like why? Like it just, I don't know why it gave me like a weird, like off-putting feeling, but it did. And so I kept getting the nudge. So I'm like, okay, obviously I need to explore this, because to be honest, I don't even know what it means fully. Like I'm still figuring it out. I don't have it all figured out. So if you're tuning in to try and figure that out, this isn't the place. But if you want to hear my story, please stay. And so I knew I had to explore it. One of my spiritual friends shared with me that she had gotten this reading with an astrology reading, and really really liked it. So I was like, oh, send me the information. I love getting a good reading, like even though I do it for people for a living, like girlfriend loves to get her own readings. So I was like, I'm gonna book, like she recommended her, why not? And I was looking at, like, I didn't even really look into her. I just booked her because it was, referral. But then I was looking into her more. I was like, oh, like she is going through that. Like she's embodying her divine feminine energy and like fully being in it. She even has rituals that were tailored to it. Happy to share her information too. And so I was like, cool, like this is I guess is meant to be. And the way she tailored the reading was all around like what my divine feminine looks like. It helped me uncover that and how I can embody her more in what it means. And I sat with it because there was so much juicy information that came through in this reading. And again, I'm still processing it because it's a lot, but ultimately it's me trusting my body and not disassociating with it so much. This is a protection mechanism that I have done since I was a little girl. Always being in the headspace or just like disassociating, like not wanting to be in the body because I don't trust it. And, like I look back on my journey and it makes so much sense. Like even the trauma that I had faced and how I was treating myself, like there was this push and pull. I knew that the things that I was doing to myself and to my body weren't healthy, but it was also a way for me to cope through trauma and like escape it. So it really helped me understand what my body or what I tend to want to do, which is not listening to my body and being in the body, like being fully present. And it makes sense because I feel like so like when you explore divine feminine, you'll hear people refer to like her, she, like that's me, so like who I am, I'm coming home to her. And she has been slowly like coming out and awakening. For example, my sound instruments. I am not a musician. I don't have a musical background, but I knew after my first sound bath, like I just like my soul was craving it, calling to it. So I learned these instruments and I incorporate them into my healing practice. And like when I am very flighty, feeling super ungrounded, stressed, angry, any type of emotion that isn't serving my highest good, as I'm working through it, I will play instruments, and that like literally it like brings me back down into my body, and I feel like it's a homecoming when I'm playing it. And so that type of activity, this like art that I'm expressing myself, but it's allowing me to be in my body. I hope that makes sense. And if that resonates with you, let me know. Another form, you could do dancing. I mean, I grew up dancing, and you don't have to be a dancer, okay? I'll just say that, but just put on some music and sway and flow and just like let your body move to the music. Find music that you feel good with and that your body is responding to. Like if you feel like a little twitch or you want to move around, like just do it. It could be any type of music. It doesn't have to be like super calm or flowy. It could be salsa, it could be rap if you need to go like twerk and whatever, like whatever's gonna help you be in your body. That's what you need to do. And of course, like meditating, anything that's gonna force you to be present. So in addition to that, that has also helped me in my spiritual practice, because when I do intuitive readings, like I'll be real with you. Sometimes I will second guess and I'm like, is this really my channel? Or is it my ego mind? And I think if you are an intuitive and you're listening to this, you know exactly what I mean, especially when you're in like more of the beginning of your journey, which I would say I am. There's a lot of doubt that can creep in. And so, but your clients will push that away, of course, because when you're channeling and giving them the information and they're saying it resonates, you're like, okay. So that of course helps. But sometimes like if you're sitting with yourself or reading for yourself, and even like if you're meditating and you get some downloads, you're like, did I just make that up? It's like, no. So here's what I recommend, and this is what has really helped me, is the next time you're doing an meditation or whatever, and you're seeking guidance from your spirit guide team, higher self, whoever, ascended master, just ask, show me what truth feels like in my body. But when you do this, you have to make sure you have zero distractions. Like you need to be fully present. Make sure it's super quiet, and ask for truth to be shown in your body, and pay attention to sensations that come forward. So you might get chills, you might get tingling in certain areas of your body. Maybe in your mind's eye, you see something light up, or you see an image, or you even hear something. Like it could be a number of things. For me, it's like really intense tingling in the top, like the crown of my head, or full body chills. And so because I'm talking about truth in the body, like I'm getting full body chills right now. So really paying attention to that, because our bodies even know before our mind lets the truth come in. So listening to your body and trusting your body. And so the more that I've been doing that, it's allowed me to trust my body more. And oftentimes, like my body will give me a yes or a no, or show me truth before like the thought even comes. So try that practice. That has been very, very helpful for me. It's also helped me move through some lingering trauma. And if you are on your own spiritual path or spiritual journey, you know that trauma can resurface. It's a circle. You may have to rework through it several several times. It's not a one and done type of thing. Sure, some cases it can be, but that's the beauty of healing, is like you move through it in different ways. New things can surface or come up that maybe weren't coming to light before. And the reason for that is because our spirit guide teams, our higher self, you will be presented with what you're ready for at that time. And it may not be because you're not ready or you can't handle it, but it also could just be the divine timing of it. It coincides with a lesson that you're learning currently in your life, or something that's coming up in your life, a situation. So give yourself grace if that's where a lot of your emotions are coming from, is trauma that still needs to be worked through. And when I say trauma, I mean it could be little t, big T, however people want to categorize it. To me, everyone experiences trauma in their own way, so I don't like to give it a number or categorize it, because my trauma may not be the same type of trauma for you, or you might not find it traumatic, and vice versa. But it's your story, it's my story, it's how it has affected me and shaped me. And so using your own discernment in terms of what is lingering, and if you don't like the word trauma, experiences, past lessons that you need to move through. So I hope that helps. I really wanted to share that. And part of, my February month, I was also, I would say, pushed to look at new healing space. And I am sitting in my new healing space and I love it so much. I just feel so at home here, and the energy is so beautiful. And when I was feeling a bit low in February and just kind of frustrated with how things were going, the space that I was in, it was in a building where, you have different tenants, different businesses. And so I was getting a new tenant, and their noise level was louder than the previous. And, and it was tough for me because, here you have a business that's doing Reiki and readings and trying to set the space for healing, and then there's louder business next door. So of course that wasn't the right setup. And so I set out on this journey to start looking, and looked at so many different places, and there was a couple that were here and there that felt really good, but for whatever reason didn't work out. In the space that I'm in now, so I looked at this building over a year ago. It was when the time I was looking for my last space, and really liked it, but it didn't work out. In any case, I don't want to share the details as to why I couldn't rent it, but it wasn't my decision. It was the landlord's decision, because of the tenants that were in this building, which is fine. I respect it. I didn't want to force anything. What's meant to be will be. So, as I was looking in February, I was getting frustrated because, for one, there's not a whole lot on the market, and two, you would see something that you really like, and then it gets swooped up. So I had called. I still had this landlord's number from the last time I had looked at it, and I called him and I said, hey, if an opportunity comes up for me to rent there, I'm very interested, love the place, just the whole setup. It's an old house and there's a bunch of different rooms that people rent. And he said, okay, I'll save your number, but I don't anticipate anything's going to happen because current tenant has been there for several years. And I said, okay, that's fine. Just, save my number. Let me know if anything comes up. And I remember the day I called him, I got this sudden urge to give him a call. Spirit came and said, you need to call him and just give him your number. And I felt like it was just a waste of time. But at the same time, I was also well, it can't hurt because I've looked everywhere else. So you never know. So I listened to the message that I got. He called me a week later, I swear, on everything. And he goes, you must be psychic because the person that has the space had given me notice last night. And I was like, whoa. A week later, that was so weird. Like, I was like, I still can't believe it. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I was like, well, I'm obviously interested, please let me take a look at it. So I got to come in here before like he even had a chance to list it, because I had called him a week before and said, hey, if anything comes up, please call me. And of course it was fresh in his mind because it was a week ago. So it's just wild how it turned out. So I would say like the lesson there is, yeah, sometimes we go through shit and we get really frustrated with ourselves. We get really impatient and pissed, like when things aren't going our way. Like, work through it. Things will always be better on the other side. Like, I worked through it and I felt like me working through it like literally opened a pathway for me. So I hope that gives you hope. And now I have this gorgeous space. So right now I'm sitting in like a big open area where I plan to do community events, which I'm so excited about. Like, and I have chills talking about it because this is something that I have been talking about since the fall. It was like a dream I had where, or an intention I had, like, I want to hold more community events. I wasn't even holding community events. Like, I want to host community events. I want to build my community. I want to build this like sisterhood of women that we can lean on each other and empower each other. I knew I needed to do it. I just didn't know how. And like, fast forward 6 months down the road and look at where I'm at. It's insane. Like, I did not think that this was possible. And so I'm hosting my first community event 6 days from now. It will be on, what day is it? Friday the 14th. Yes, Friday the 14th, because that's our lunar eclipse in Virgo and it's a full moon. And so we're going to do a beautiful ceremony. I'm making it intimate. There's only going to be 6 women coming, and it's just going to be magical. And it's like the perfect first community event to do during such like a potent time energetically. And I cannot wait. And I plan to do more of those. Like, I'm going to have sound baths. I'm going to create more events. Like, I have a vision and it's coming to life. And so if you have a dream, if you have a thought, like something that you really want, do not let go of it and put it out there and like hold it in your heart and believe that it's yours and it can happen. Like, when I was thinking about all this, all of the things naturally in the back of my mind were like, that's impossible. How are you gonna do it? You can't afford it. Like, not right now, maybe 5-10 years down the road. No, like, put all of that aside and just, if you fully believe in it in your heart and you just store it in there and and you think about it all the time. Like, I thought about it all the time and even talked about it. I just didn't know how it was going to unfold or happen. The universe has your back. Like, it will move things out of your way for it to happen. And just knowing and trusting that if you really desire the thing, it can happen. And I say that, like, of course, within reason. Of course, like, I would love to win the freaking lottery, but within reason, okay? So yeah, I had to share that with you all because I love how I found the space, and it just feels so good and bright and airy in here. I had my first client yesterday. It was one of my repeat clients, and it just felt really good. And she had, like, after the session, she had asked me, which I thought was such a cool question. Like, I didn't even think about, like, I wasn't even thinking about it. She's like, so did you notice a difference, working on me here versus your prior place? And I was like, oh. And I sat with it for a second. I'm like, yeah, actually, like, I felt like I went deeper, like, if that makes sense. Like, I was deeper in my channel. I was deeper in, like, the healing and the Reiki. It was just like more presence. And, a lot of it could be because of all of the love that I poured into here for the last week and a half, getting everything set up. But really, it just, like, lights me up. It feels so much more aligned with what I'm trying to do. So how beautiful is that when we just like fully trust our bodies and trust the universe, how like beautiful things can unfold for us. Yeah, so what else? What else do I want to share with all of you beautiful people? I feel like that's it. It's more so an update. I know March, okay, so March, there is a lot going on astrologically, and like, I'm sure you've heard it on social media or on the news or whatever you read. And I want to say, use your discernment. Like, for me, I shared this the other day, but I feel like some of the content I've been watching, it's like almost creating a sense of fear, like something bad's gonna happen. And I want to say, use your discernment, because if that doesn't resonate with you, you can leave it. Like, you don't, that does not have to be yours. And so just know that like what is yours is yours. Like, do not take it on if it doesn't resonate. And yes, there is a lot of potent energy. Some of it can be, I don't want to say chaotic, but Emily the Mystic said drama. Like, there will be drama. Yes, things can be dramatic. But yeah, like, don't like be fearful. Use the information, use your discernment to be prepared in how you navigate it. You know, for example, like whenever Mercury goes retrograde, like everyone's like, oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde. And it's like, it's not like to be scared. It's to inform you, like, you know what, communication is going to be a bit challenging. So be mindful of how you're communicating with others, and or how you're perceiving communication. You know, be ready to experience technical difficulties. You know, expect or be open to unexpected plans in your travel arrangements if you're going on travel. So think like framing it in that way. It's just like being prepared, knowing it's like, hey, heads up, this could happen, or you might feel this energy. And so if we can take some of those like energy updates with that mindset, that is what I would do, because that's what I've had to do for myself. Especially going into the month of March, because I was like, oh my God, like, is this a bad timing for me to open my space and like hold the community events? But then like my higher self, my guides were like, no, like do it. This is the perfect time. So if it feels good for you, then own that. Okay. Now, the last tidbit I do want to say is about Venus going in retrograde, which I don't normally like tune into Venus. And again, like, I'm not an astrology expert. I like to read on it for like myself, and then as things come up with clients, you know, help them be informed and prepared. So I'm so curious to see how, or if you've noticed like Venus is retrograde, how it's been affecting you. I have heard, hey, you know, past relationships may resurface like an ex, or you may feel called to reassess relationships that you have with your loved one or people in your family, like siblings, parents, any type of relationship. It could be working, it doesn't have to be romantic. So you might feel called to reassess that or end things. I even read somewhere where it's like not a good time to start a new relationship, or not a good time to, what was the other one? Maybe like go on a date, or I don't know. And I was just like, I don't like that, because I don't think that's going to resonate with everybody. And so for me, I thought it was interesting, because I'm like, man, I'm actually like vibing with my husband right now. So that doesn't sit right with me. So I'll tell you this, like sometimes it could be the flip, right? The opposite. So maybe what they're telling you, it could also like depend on where you're just at in your current life, where your stars align, where your planets align. Again, discernment is big. So, and I tell clients that too when I give them readings. It's like, take what resonates, leave the rest. And then if they're recording it, like I say, listen to this in a month from now, and or 6 months down the road, it might make more sense. Prime example, my sister got a reading for me from one of her spiritual friends. This was over a year ago. And I remember listening to it for the first time, and I was like, oh yeah, it kind of resonates. But I listened to it like a week and a half ago, because randomly I remembered the reading. I completely forgot about it. But two, I remember she said something about divine feminine energy. And so I was like, ooh, I need to find the reading and listen to it. I listened to it and I like was like, whoa, this reading, like I felt like she fast forwarded into my future a year. And it was like, it was like spot on to the T for me in that present moment. So sometimes messages that we hear aren't meant for us at the time that we're hearing them. So again, discernment. Okay, that feels pretty good. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I know there wasn't like a whole lot of order in what I was talking about, but wanted to give you an update, tell you what's on my mind, and I hope you all are doing fabulous. You're having a beautiful weekend because it's Saturday, March 8th. It's International Women's Day, so happy International Women's Day. Keep supporting each other, lifting each other up. Like, things are so much more magical when we support other women. No competition, no bad blood, like just loving and leaning into each other, because we need more of that, and things just unfold so much nicer for us and everything's so much more magical. So I so appreciate you being here. Like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date with me more regularly. I'm on Instagram at Energy Healing Ashley.